Welcome everyone to the Magical Frequency. On today's money episode, we're going to talk about all the fun ways that we can attract money into our lives, all of the different ways that I've personally used. Some of them you've heard of before, I'm sure, around YouTube or just from reading. And some of it you've probably never heard of. Some of it I'm just literally out of my you-know-what, because that's what we all are actually doing here, if you know what I mean. It's whatever we believe to be truth. So I, for me, believe this to be truth. So I'm going to share with you what has been working for me. And you can see that I'm not blowing smoke up your A. My life has progressively gotten better, continues to get better, and I see the results of everything that I have been doing thus far. So I know that there's very much so truth in everything that I'm about to talk about. With that being said, everything that I am going to talk about, I created slides for, so I hope that you find them interesting and that you find them helpful and that you think that they are an additional value add to this presentation. And I'm literally going to be looking at it through my iPad. I did do this slide through Canva. First thing that I want to cover that I find that is extremely interesting when we think about money is that we're all in a constant hypnotic state of frequencies around us that allow to penetrate the subconscious. So everybody, when they don't recognize it, they are being hypnotized. Like thinking that you can hypnotize somebody as a one instance occurrence is not necessarily a thing to me. I think that we're all being hypnotized. We are being hypnotized from the moment we are born to do something. So I don't think that it's just like this magical thing that just a hypnotist can do. I think we are all in the process of hypnotizing ourselves. So you can essentially hypnotize yourself to make money. So that's just the first thing I want to talk about here. Then the second one I want to talk about is just the word universe. That can be literally broken down into it just meaning the total existence in one whole. I also love the whole idea of one and then something that is turned. All that is turned into being. So when I read that and when I look at the word universe, it's just a constant expansion and evolution of everything that is interconnected, and that is the universe. It's everything. It's you, it's me, it's the cosmos, it's all matter, it's everything. It is absolutely all interconnected, and money is a part of this. Money is a part of you, and I have there, you are money, babe, because everybody here that is on this video is obviously trying to get more money. That first quote from the big timers that I opened this up with, I'm still fly. And the reason that I wanted to put that in the beginning of this video was before any of this manifestation or quantum shifting or reality creation, I still was a very successful individual, and it was because of the mindset that I had. It was because I had that I'm still fly mindset. It didn't matter what was happening. I was always trying to level up, and it wasn't from a perspective of how I'm leveling up now. Like, it's much different. I'm leveling up now at a much different rate, like the level of consciousness, abundance mindset, no matter what. And it doesn't have to mean money. It means with everything in your life, you are abundant. And if you keep that mindset, your abundance will continue to grow because what you focus on expands. And the universe, in my opinion, loves expansion. It wants us all to expand. And if making money is a part of your expansion process, you should get as much money that is a part of your expansion process, shouldn't you? And I do believe this is a simulation and we are in a game, but I'm not here to tell you that anything that I'm saying in this video is necessarily required. You don't need any specific techniques to make money per se. Some people can just get in their God body status and know what they're doing and make money. Okay, if you're able to do that, you do not have to pay attention to any of this stuff. You don't have to click on this video. For me, I was somebody that was driving around asleep at the wheel, what I like to call. So I had to wake up and I had to do different things to basically make myself wake up or make myself focus because I was lacking that. But hey, if you don't lack this and you can just wake up every day and completely be in tune with whatever vibrational frequency, it gets easier and easier. I don't have to necessarily do all of these practices or any of these techniques anymore. You kind of just get into this knowing. However, I have been playing with my checkerboard recently, my meditation. It's been awesome. It's been showing me that my subconscious, my brain, whatever you want to call it, can be programmed to look for things that make certain areas of my life better or more abundant, and I can just see how it's all working. I can see my mind putting things together, organization. I can see better ways to process information, systems, etc. So as you get deeper into this type of knowledge, you don't necessarily always have to be sitting there doing techniques like robotic affirmations or hypnotizing yourself, but it is always good practice to have really healthy money inner dialogue. So let's talk about the first slide that I came up with, and I wanted to bring up the scientific experiments that they conducted on mice, where essentially they presented them with almond oil and then they would shock them when the mice would smell the almond oil. And essentially what that would do is obviously not make the mouse feel good. Interpret that however you want. And then that sends out frequencies, right? Because what ends up happening is the mice would end up building neurons that would essentially make them avoid almond oil or be like fearful of almond oil or scared of it. And then generationally, those same things ended up happening for their children mice, even mice that were not born from them specifically. They could have been like surrogate mice or something. And that just goes to show you that your neurons are always building according to whatever frequencies that you're emitting. And the mice might not even know what's going on. They just know it doesn't feel good and they're letting out an emotion for that. So whatever that is, or whatever that energy is, energy, emotion, energy and motion, emotions or energy and motion, whatever you want to say, it causes the mouse to react a certain way, and then the neurons build according to that reaction. It's as simple as that. So my idea is like you stimulating the simulation to then shift your neurological pathways to start to adhere to whatever it is that feels good or bad to you, whatever you want to call that, physically, mentally, however you want to interpret that. So essentially, if you look at this with money, you could be building a mentality that is keeping you away from money, right? Because we might be presented money and like something like our bank account, and we are looking at our bank account and we are shocked. Think about it. Like, think about all the ways that you might look at money and feel shocked. When you're shopping, maybe you feel shocked because you're spending. When you have to give a bill, you're shocked. So if every single time you're doing something like that and you are shocking your system in a negative emotional way or in a way that doesn't feel good to you, I don't want to say I hate the use of negative and positive because people seem to not resonate with that or understand what I'm trying to say. It's not necessarily that it's negative or positive. That's just an element of how we can describe a level of something. We just don't want to be in like a lower level of feelings or consciousness when we're associating to that thing. So every single time you get a bill, it would behoove of you not to get emotionally upset or frustrated or shocked about it, because what you're doing is you're sending out those frequencies and then you're building those neurons to keep you away from money. So you'll be scared of money. What do they say? Scared of money don't make money. It's very much so like that. Generationally building this into your neurons, you could be passing this on to your children, or your parents could have passed this on to you, and you need to be conscious of this. And it could be done for however many years of generations. And then of course, if you're not even, maybe you're like adopted or if you, whatever, you could still have those neurons built to keep you away from certain things or certain situations, or things like having a large amount of money. So just some things to kind of consider on your money pathway. You want to think about that, because the simulation is indifferent. It doesn't care about wrong or right. It's going to build whatever the pathways are there. It doesn't care if building a pathway to make you go and chase social media, it's not going to care. It's going to build whatever you're telling it to build, essentially. So how does money make you feel? You really need to think about kicking on your fight or flight response when you end up talking, thinking, feeling, looking at money. And that's not what we want to do, right? We want to avoid that state. Next slide. We want to stay away from that. We want to feel that money is empowering to us, that money is powerless without us, that we control money. Money does not control us. And you want to create a space for your money, because money is everywhere. It's abundant. You want to have a mentality that money loves me, that money is attracted to me. You don't want to have those other feelings where it's shocking, upset, pissed off, irritated. You want to kind of shy away from that, because every single time you're creating those situations, again, remember, you're building neurons. So if you're having a better response to money, like for example, if you're using neurolinguistic programming to talk to yourself every day about money, do you think that you may be then building the neural pathways that you need to chase money, to make you go after money? And another scientific thing that I wanted to talk about here was just the idea of optical illusions, and this idea where we can hypnotize mice into not understanding like different spatial arrangements, or not understanding different depths. And we can also, and there was also another study where I saw them put a mechanism on the mouse's brain, and they were able to robotically control the mouse, which means, do you think that we could be potentially robotically controlled somehow if that's possible for a mouse? Just think about these things. And back to the optical illusion. For me, that means that the simulation is able to entrance you just by different things, and illusions is one of them. Not completely well read on the optical illusion part with the mice, but there's something there to me. And this is why I end up talking about in a different slide how light comes through your brain, converts into electrical signals. The importance of electrical signals. This is what your nervous system interprets and sends back to the matrix. So light comes into play here, and that's why it's really interesting to me and intrigues me with optical illusions, and the whole idea of when you rub your eyes and close them, you get that very simplistic black and white checker pattern. What I like to say is the most simplest form of pattern that is presented basically to the human psyche. It allows us to process everything around us through the universe or the matrix, the simulation, whatever you want to call it. And that's how light plays into this whole thing with your brain, if you will, your third eye. That's why all of those different practices spark electricity or deal with electrical or whatever, that type of, whatever you want to call that. Like, for example, things like aura perception and energy fields, kundalini awakenings, pranayama and breath work, qigong and tai chi, reiki and energy healing, just shamanic practices, chakra activations, astral projection and out-of-body experiences, meditation states, etc. All of that, they all deal with this electrical thing that we're dealing with in our body. So these are other ways that can help you attract money into your life, especially if you use that electrical type of force that you're getting with these specific practices and focusing on money. Also wanted to bring up another experiment, which was a split brain experiment, and you can research this, but basically just cut a brain in half, and they do they can operate independently. So that raises another interesting question about the significance of consciousness. Is it just that we have these kind of like thought forms that are emitting into the ethers? And I know that many people might consider that woo, or, not, it sounds like crazy town talk. But essentially, if you are always thinking positively about money, could you potentially attract money? Like, I do believe that is the case, because your subconscious will start putting things in motion. You will start having very inspired action that does not feel like work, and you will start generating money in different ways. You will start pulling out ideas from the ethers. And one of these other sides I wanted to talk about is it's very important to get aligned with how you feel about money. And one of these things is oftentimes people feel like guilt or bad about money. But for me, it's like, do you feel bad, stressed, or scared when you spend money like on like when you're in a video game, spending the video game money? I never did. I would always spend it and just have fun with it because it was like funny money. Or like if somebody gives you a lottery ticket and you win, or an inheritance, like, do you feel bad or guilty in those situations? More than likely, people probably don't. And there's going to be a situation where you obtain money where you don't feel guilty, hopefully. And if you do, you really need to work on that. And whatever that feeling is, taking in the money of receiving when you don't feel guilty, you need to like 10x that and multiply it, because basically you deserve expansion, first of all. And then, of course, everybody always says like abundance is your birthright. And I do believe it, because why wouldn't you want to be rich in the simulation? Or when I get to a video game, I always want to try to earn as much money as I can, and the easiest way possible. There's cheat codes. I remember I used to play like Nintendo and all that, and Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and I would have Game Genie, and I would put that Game Genie and hack it right out and have so much fun in that game. So why wouldn't you do that same kind of thing if you could hear? And I do believe that you can. There's different ways to hack everything. I don't care what anybody says. So get in the feeling of whatever that feeling is when you don't feel guilty and you feel good, like that feeling of winning, free money, whatever that free money feeling is. Just make sure to feel that. Try to feel that a lot. Try to feel that all the time. Try to make that your feeling frequency when you are spending and getting, that, the universe is just giving you what you want, the simulation, whatever it is. But you are actually the simulation. You are the creator, if I haven't mentioned that. So I'm here to basically wake you up. That's why I said I was asleep at the wheel earlier, but we're here waking each other up to this whole video game, because that's what this is. And then we're here to level up and make this life the best life that we can. That's why we have that higher self concept. And when we talk about the quantum and the observer effect with money, how many potentials are you collapsing with your observations? Are you collapsing 10K a month, 20K a month? What are you collapsing? What do you see for yourself? Which one are you putting observation over? And with this, you are the conscious awareness. You can put any type of awareness over this. And I do believe once you start vibrating on those frequencies, you do start making money. And that did happen to me. I used to make a certain amount of money and doubled it. And it was because I started resonating, behaving, and acting on another frequency and level where there was just the universe giving me what I wanted. You can call it thought transmission, or you can call it, whatever you want. I was getting what I wanted, especially when it came to my salary. And that was what I was focusing on specifically at that time. But I have hundreds of other stories where I just think of something and it crops up. Like, I have a situation where I looked at a little tiny bug in my pool, and I was so gagged over this bug, and I thought I would love to have a large version of this for myself, because I know that's a creepy thing to want. Just something where I was like, oh, these bugs are so cool. I collect bugs. And guess what? It showed up right on my doorstep about 2 days later. and I got what I wanted. So it's just like small things like that you can literally ask the universe, and that's just like a tiny little thing that happened, because I do believe that money is just vibrating strings with string theory, because everything is just vibrating down to its smallest molecular structure, and it boils down to whatever conviction you have about money. Your imagination is God here in this sense. And basically, you are a master creator with your imagination. You are God. Come in tune with yourself. You will create to make an abundance of money, and it will come easy to you. It will not be a stressful, difficult thing. You will start to love what you do, and you will start to create the life of your dreams. But you have to put your focus on this. You have to understand that you are the creator, and what is that belief system? What are those convictions that you have in your heart about yourself, about money? Do you believe that money is hard to come by? Do you believe that you could never win the lottery? Do you believe that you'll never make it big? If you have those beliefs, they're all going to be true for yourself. Have beliefs and convictions that you will make money, you'll start taking that inspired action, and it'll come quicker and quicker, especially when you do these like meditations and stuff and just sit and think with yourself. You get all these like crazy ideas, and some of them are just chef's kiss, because at the end of the day, how did any of those other inventors come up with half of the things that they came up with? They were in state akin to sleep. They were in meditations. It came to them in dreams. If you just look that up, it comes to them, and they say some of them comes from the ethers, and that's when like thought forms start to come into play. What's out there is infinite consciousness, just like an Akashic record of everything that has ever existed ever, and nobody can come up basically with anything new. That book, Simulacra and Simulation, because is it all just like copies of copies of copies? Like everything out here has been said and done, and we are all just consistently like regurgitating, making this cycle, and we can pull out from what we want. And it's up to you in the simulation video game to pull out which thought forms you want to put into your programming. So if you have thought forms that are programmed that you are in poverty or that you cannot become rich, that will be in your head. So you have to program those thoughts out of your head. Some people don't need this. If you were on God body status, you know what's up, and you have full conviction in your heart at all times, and you know that when you look at your bank account, you are a millionaire. Like in the beginning of the song, again, I say fly. Like you don't care. You will see whatever it is in this simulation matrix, I guarantee it, but it has to be something that you know, and that it is a constant record playing in your head. Like I'm fly all the time. I don't have any doubts. I am the child of the universe, always on record, and that's why affirmations work great. But I don't believe in necessarily one specific affirmation. I love saying an abundance of things, because I do believe that the universe lives and breathes on expansion. So whenever you're trying to make something bigger and better, you're going to get what you want. If you say stagnant, I think like that's what you're going to get. And I'm not saying that you can't create wonderful things saying the same thing over and over again, but I love to expand and say other things and have other frequencies come in, and not just sit on one word or like one thing over and over again. Like I do like thinking on the word God. That is very like calming, but I do love just openly saying like how fun my life is. I entangle with only beautiful thoughts. Things that lead me to money only entangle with my subconscious. You can come up with the craziest affirmations for yourself that sound awesome, and you will just continue to attract abundance into your life. And another note on that is to not let others manipulate you, because there is other thought forms out here. There's other people with their opinions. There's other vibrations, energies, frequencies. You don't want them penetrating you. You want to stay rock solid in your frequency, knowing that you are still fly, that nobody can touch your frequency. And that's something that's really important during all of this money mantra stuff. If you are always in this state where you're doubting or lacking or unsure, or you don't feel the best version of yourself, there's always ways to keep propping yourself up and expanding. And as long as you are always expanding, you will continue to go and go and go. If you're sitting on your couch not doing anything, I'm not saying that people don't manifest like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I manifested a car for completely free. And I didn't even like completely actively manifest hard for it or anything like that. So you can get situations like that to you much easier when you're in alignment to the things that you're supposed to be doing in the simulation. Like, I came here to play a game. I didn't sit here to be a couch potato. I came here to have this fabulous life. So it's up to you what you make of your life. And if you think that sitting on like a couch and doing absolutely nothing and then just having boatloads of money handed to you, you're not going to be able to sustain it the same way, and it's not as fun to play the game. Like, even when I had the cheat codes in the game, it was fun to play the game still. If I was able to just do whatever I wanted at all times and not complete any of the levels or not do any of the missions or not do any of the things, talk to the people, or do any of the cool things within the simulation that I came to do, what's the point? I'm just going to sit there with my lump of cash and just keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's fun to try. It's fun to have a little bit of competition, but in a healthy way, knowing that everything's out here for you, but you're in competition with yourself because you're actually just one-upping yourself over and over again, because you're just out here trying to make the best existence for yourself. And focusing on your own money and yourself, I think, is another great way to build your wealth. Like moving in silence, not, showing everybody what you're doing at all times. Because I do believe we are in a hologram. This is all an illusion, and we can bring forth to us whatever illusion we want. So if it's the illusion of money, we can bring that to us in this simulation. It's as simple as that. I'll say that in my personal experience, I do believe that the simulation, the matrix, the universe, whatever you want to call it, does enjoy balance. So if you tip the scales too far out of the way, when you are on whatever level of consciousness you're at, the universe will tip you back. Higher level, the pendulums will obviously work to whatever it needs to when you're on that level. But it does take levels to everything. Talk about folks that hit the lottery losing it all in a lump sum because they don't know how to handle it. So, and the universe will knock you back into whatever state it needs to if you're not already in that state prior. And you can alchemize all these negative feelings about money. You can take anything that you have that you're negatively thinking, that's a part of this process too, and alchemize them into good, alchemize them into beneficial for you, whatever that means for you in your life, whatever good means for you. And I do personally believe that we can quantum shift reality we so choose to through the decisions that we make, especially when it comes to money. If you want to shift into a parallel reality where you're making tons of money, you can do this. You just have to align with that frequency and start making decisions to make that parallel reality open up for you. It's as simple as that. So that means sometimes making inspired decisions like throwing money into a savings account, throwing money into an investment account, buying a property and having it as a real estate investment, putting money into some different cryptocurrencies. It could be writing an ebook and putting it out for sale. It could be still working specific jobs that bring you high income. And then it could be also building other forms of income that help you earn money while you sleep, like social media. So it's all about what you are perceiving from the ethers. Are you getting great ideas that are leading you to money? Or are you being led in a direction that makes you feel like you are led by the crowd? You don't know what to do. You feel like you have to follow everybody else to make money. If you are in those alignments, you will stay in those alignments. And again, just thinking about our inner and outer dialogues. If you think money doesn't grow on trees, that you're unlucky with money, that the market is bad, you need to swap those dialogue, you need to swap those dialogues to things like money does flow to me. My bank account is flourishing. The market is great for me. I'm so lucky with money. And the emotions that you feel about money in a way where it's like irritation and depression and fear, everybody knows what I'm talking about here with those emotions with money. You need to swap those emotions, because as the little icons at the bottom have, is that you will be running away from money. It will not be chasing you in a good way. You will be running from it. It will not be able to get into your pocket. But then if you start to swap the way you perceive things and the way that your belief system works about money, it's like opening a faucet, and it's like quantum shifting into another parallel reality where you're making all the money that you want to make. And if you see here, it's about acting as if, but in an honest and true way to yourself, and loving yourself for whatever stage that you are in with making money. It's saving with intention. It's doing things like donating to causes that make you feel happy. It's enjoying everything to its fullest, not looking at things when you're buying them and being upset, especially if you want some sort of fancy schmancy thing and you feel guilty about paying for it, but you absolutely love this thing. Like, this is a game. Why did you come here? To have fun. I'm not going to deny myself over and over and over again of things that I really enjoy, because there's no point in doing that. So keeping, of course, in balance. I'm not saying I'm going out here and just using whatever and getting crazy all the time. You have to try to keep everything with balance, but I'm not going to go into a scarcity mindset and completely strip myself of enjoyment of things instead of just going and enjoying the thing a few times and not getting completely upset about it. Joe D saying things like cells that fire together, wire together. You know, this is just the same thing where I was discussing earlier, where the shock. If you continue to shock your system, you will continue to fire those negative money neurons, if you will. If you continue to give your system good things, you will be flooding your system with all of them good chemicals, not the stress hormones and all this and the stress chemicals. You will be flooding it with good chemicals, and you will be connecting those neurons to help you pursue money, to help money come to you, especially if you try to pursue money in a very easy way, in a relaxed way, in a way that feels good to you, in a way that is in alignment with what you came here to do in this game, in this simulation, in this universe. Another thing that Jody does talk about is that heart and mind coherence, and that's very important, because having those emotions align with one another really helps send those signals to the simulation, in my opinion. And it helps your brain seek out whatever it is that you want it to seek out. It is a radio signal. It is something that is a receiver for you. Brain is a receiver. It is a radio. It can bring in all different kinds of thoughts for you, thoughts that will make you make lots and lots of money. And what type of signals are you then sending back to the simulation? Are you sending, yeah, I love money, bring me more, bring me more? Or are you saying, oh my God, I hate money and spending so much? I'm always like, thank you, give money. I got my money candle back here. I have a money robe, okay? I love money. And it's in a good way. It's not in this narcissistic, terrible way where if I didn't have it, I couldn't still have a good time. I feel like if I had to go live on the beach, I would deal with it and eventually be really happy with that. And I wouldn't need any of this stuff, because we really don't. It's all just here to make us have fun. What are you here to do? What are you here to have fun with? What will your money do for you to make you have fun? That's what you need to think about. And the simulation, in my opinion, does like patterns, rhythms, organization, math, geometry, 3, 6, and 9. It loves all that stuff. And I feel like when it's patterning things to us, it's showing us that we are on a correct path. When I continue to see certain numbers over and over again, it like intuition helps me lead in certain directions. It's something that I know intuitively inside. And if you hone in on your intuition with money, you will get these types of nudges or twinges, expand. The simulation wants you to expand. So it's almost like it wants to nudge you in the way that you need to go if you listen for it, if you allow for it, if you receive for it, and then if you take action that feels aligned and good for you, things will just start lining up for you. And there are levels of consciousness, but I'm not going to really get into this on that video just because that could be a whole nother video of itself. But making money, I do believe you do have to kind of scale up on your level of money making consciousness. You have to prime yourself. It's why all these things work on the screen. It's all these different energy works, all these different techniques to help your subconscious accept that you can make money, sending that signal back to the simulation. That will essentially help you make money or give you the tools or let you build money just like you would build in any other situation in life. And to me, it's fun. It's fun to be of a mindset that is of expansion, that is of futuristic, that is of building, that is of seeing what my money can do for me. How can my money work for me? My money is not in control of me. I am in control of my money. So what are your beliefs about money? When I spend money, it feels good. I like to tip people. I like to give gifts when I can. I like to donate. I like to do all kinds of fun stuff with my money. And I think that's another reason why it has been abundant to me in my life. I love to just do everything that has to do with having a good time, that is, just living your best life. And I do believe that there's other things, though, that we can help ourselves and train, because I've been using them. I haven't always had a mindset like this. I've had to train myself. And I think that I was successful before because I had those money mantras about myself where, like, I'm so fly, I can make money. And I wasn't following, like, these universal laws or this higher consciousness thinking. I was just in, like, this I can do it attitude. So, like, even if you don't subscribe to any of this stuff, as long as you keep, like, an expansion attitude, you'll make money. And I do believe in brain entrainment and frequencies like binaural beats. I do love the thought of tapping, doing different EFT tappings, TFT, all that jazz. I love all of that. I think incorporating that into whatever activity that you're doing is excellent. But I also do believe that putting them all together for me has really worked wonders for my subconscious. But please, you do whatever it is that you need to do for your subconscious. Make my own hypnosis that I can play, and I'm putting out here to the masses. But I've been having so much fun with this. I've been incorporating all these things like the checkerboard patterns, the money visuals overlaid, because the mind likes symbols. If you've ever noticed, everything around us is in symbols, triangles, eyeballs, and it's all interconnected. It's all connected. There's so many things I could bring into this, like from a conspiracy theory perspective that is insane. But then, putting that meditation or hypnosis with subliminals, with NLP style, money affirmations with gratitude, because I feel like gratitude sends the frequency out to the simulation that helps you get whatever it is that you're looking for, expand into whatever it is that you're looking for. I'm actually no longer going to be using the word desire, because it's really, for me, expansion. It's expanding. I don't need to desire to do anything. I am expanding. And at this point, you can tap while you're doing these, which I've been doing. And then I love ASMR effects layered in there, which I will be doing, which is a part of like that whole shamanic chanting and drumming. That's all just triggering these different parts of your brain to just hopefully reprogram it to do the things that you're wanting it to do, not doing the other thing, not doing what society wants you to do, what your parents want you to do, what you've been programmed to do thus far. I'm sure there's been plenty of times where everybody around you has been telling you what you should do with your life. So this whole thing is about self-actualization, expanding your mentality, your inner universe, And it's all about just leveling up your money game. And there's so many different ways that you can earn money in the simulation. This video is not a specific way to show you exactly how to do that. There's a million videos online to do that. But what happens is that you need to resonate with whatever it is that you're doing to make money. Most of the time, people are in jobs that they don't really love, or they are in positions where they're doing something for money that they much rather be doing something else. So if you can get into whatever frequency that is, you will draw in money. You have to get straight on what you want and send that out to the simulation. And it can be done in all the different ways that I listed. It does not have to be done through the way that I suggested. I've just been doing it that way because it's a culmination of all the research that I have done thus far that interests me the most, that excites me the most, and feel the most invigorated about making money. Like every single time I do one of those hypnosis, I will get like these strange little things that will happen for me, and large things too, obviously, but getting free products on my other sites, for honest reviews to be paid. It's just very cool stuff that's coming in. Somebody is giving me $200, or somebody would be sending me a gift. Like I'm always having these awesome things come, or I'm just getting things like extremely inexpensively. Like somebody will just like me and give me something for $1. I have that happen like all the time. It's all these different things that you can incorporate with money, whether that means receiving money from the universe for free, whether that means doing some sort of inspired action on your part to make money. If it means putting in hard work on your end but still receiving money, you can do that in a really fun way too. The point of this video was to just try to help us all make money in a way that feels good, that isn't scary, because I think the more that we do this, like in that mouse experiment, we will be programming our own brain to be happy about the money that we're making and to seek it out in a way that feels good to us, and not a way that is stressful or scary, building those neurons to keep us away from it. We want to build those neurons to keep us going towards those higher goals. And money is just one avenue of this. You can incorporate this into any modality in your life. It is not just money. I just did a money video because I like money. It's fun to talk about money. Money excites me, and it should excite everybody, because the more money you make, the more things you can do, and the more opportunities you can have to show others how they can make money, how they can end up being able to do what they want to do within this game, this simulation. It's all about leveling up. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining. And until the next time, guys, I hope you all continue to manifest magic and resonate on your highest frequency. Bye, guys.